Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of Area 312. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rex, along with my other co-host.
Hi, I'm Kent.
And friends, since this is Saint Saturday, it's only fitting to have the band for an interview today. We are welcoming the whole band Saints. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yay!
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
And we also have two huge Saint fans as our co-hosts. We have George Wright and Tim Ristow. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
So, guys, the big news in the Saint camp is that you have a new lead singer, Eli Prinsen. Um, can you tell us how the circumstances was that Eli joined the band?
Oh, um, well, it came about that Dave wasn't able to do a lot of the touring, his schedule. Yeah, I reached out to Eli, and I've met Eli in Oslo, Norway, back in I think it was 2010, and we chatted here and there, But he's such a great singer. I thought, well, maybe he would be interested in doing the tour with us. Um, and that's pretty much how it came about. Dave wasn't able to do the German tour, and Eli was. And I mean, Dave's a busy guy, so here
And
we
Eli,
are.
and okay, thank you, Richard. And Eli, we're gonna back up a little bit and kind of ask you some history about yourself and everything. I know you were in a few bands. You were in a band called The Sacrifice, and you guys put out three records, and then you did the one Sacred Warrior album, Waiting in Darkness. And then in 2018, you did an album, Dream Patrol, which I really like that record. Could you just kind of give us maybe a history of how did you become a singer and just kind of a history of your musical endeavors?
oh sure, yeah. I started out as a drummer, and I couldn't sing, not even background vocals. So I ended up taking lessons. Of course, I had to, seek out some help, and then I ended up really enjoying it, and then kind of forming a side band, and all of us were kind of learning as we went when we were younger, and so then that started to escalate, started to improve, and then after I got saved, I started my own band called Sealed Fate. That was like my first, Christian metal band, kind of inspired by Saint, and a lot, yeah. And but later on, started singing for The Sacrificed, and then did three albums with them on Rocks with Bill. And then after that, while I was doing that, like Rich mentioned earlier, um, we had done kind of like they were on the Christian metal realm back in those days. They were doing some kind of um, tributes, like all these bands were doing like a cover song from the band Deliverance, and the Sacrifice did Slay the Wicked, and just like when Dave couldn't make the tour in Germany, the same thing had happened with Jimmy in Norway, and so they had heard that cover of Slay the Wicked, and so they contacted me and they were like, "Hey, we're in a pinch. Something came up, and you've got 9 days to learn this set. Can you do it? Will you?" I'm like, I'm sitting on the couch eating cereal, talking to Bill Baffert. I'm like, okay, yeah. so so that chain of events led me to fly halfway across the world and meet Rich and the guys, and so that's where we kind of forged our friendship. And so I filled in, did one show for Deliverance at Nordic Fest, and then Rich and I remained friends, and then yeah, I continued with The Sacrifice, did another album with them. I did the three album, and then right when we were starting to write the next one, Ray Parra had left Sacred Warrior and to do some things, and I saw that they needed somebody, and I was already, Ray lives here in Florida, and I knew Ray a little bit, because I had asked him to do some stuff, help me do some stuff with The Sacrificed. I had an idea one time, so we talked a little bit, but they needed a singer, and I was talking to Ray. I was like, "Hey, man, what do you think?" And he's like, "Hey, do it, go ahead." And so I did an album with them, and then once he was ready to come back, I was a fan of that band as well, so I was just like, have fun, enjoy. I'm happy you're back. The fans are going to be happy too. It was a different type of album that I did with them. It was a little heavier, and now they're back, I think, to their original sound. And but yeah, it was a lot of fun to do and everything. But so after that happened, I kind of retired from the stage and just went back to teaching, and teaching voice. And I've been doing that for, many years now. And then I got contacted by Rich. And of course, that's in my heart of hearts. Saint has always been my favorite, my first and famous Christian metal band, most loved Christian metal band. And so, I was just absolutely thrilled and stoked to be a part of it.
So if
Yeah,
I'm
we get
understand, go ahead,
we
Rich.
we get to have fans join the band.
It's true.
Matt Smith was a big fan as well.
Which is really cool because they love the band and they're
Right.
They're dedicated and I think that's really awesome. Well, so my question is, Eli, or Richard, or either one of you. So you're a member of the band now, then, right, Eli?
Yes.
Okay. So like first you come in to do these European concerts and then I'm assuming things went well and so the guys just asked if you wanted to join the band or is that just organically happen on its own or kind of what happened there with that?
Well, what happened was, I basically told Eli that he was officially the singer well before we went to Europe. It was just a matter of transitioning. I mean, we had the new Immortalizer album come out, and I didn't want to confuse the fans with a lot of stuff,
Okay.
as far as switching singers. It was pretty much planned because Dave just wasn't able to do
Okay.
he didn't have the time.
So you're saying that this was done quite a while ago, but um, the fans didn't know about it until just a few months ago or whatever, correct?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I have learned from many mistakes that you don't tell anybody what's happening until you have a firm, solid agreement. And that way there's not a lot of confusion. I don't know, maybe it's a terrible example, but you don't tell people when you're pregnant, until after it's solid, right?
Sure. You guys released this limited edition EU bootleg with Eli singing, all these classic Saint songs. And it's just spectacular and sound quality and everything. When were these done? How long ago did you have Eli singing these songs?
Eli just got over the flu when he tracked most of those vocals.
Okay.
And he was still kind of sick when we were in Germany. He was not contagious or anything, but he wasn't at his best, let's say. And it was kind of like a last minute thing that I think, was it Jared? Did you come up with this whole idea?
Yeah,
Jared.
I want Jared, tell us about this because I'm really curious about this.
Yeah, well, so like I was explaining before we went live, basically, since we're all remote, in order for us to rehearse, we all record ourselves and then send our parts to everybody and then put it all into one big session. You can just mute your part and play along, and that's how we're able to rehearse as a band at how we're actually going to play the songs versus, playing against the CD is not necessarily how we perform it live all the time. And so this gave us a really good chance to kind of get tight before going over to Europe. And basically, I was like, it wouldn't take much to just press this into a CD and release it as just like kind of something special for the fans. And so then kind of the idea of calling it a bootleg, because it's not really an album. It really is our rehearsals. It's us playing live in our rehearsals. But I just thought that'd probably be a fun thing for everybody. And so far it seems that it's gone over pretty well.
Yeah, I know the fans are really eating it up, and I'm curious. So, like, was there thought put into the songs that you were going to put on this, or is just all the songs you rehearsed for the tour, or?
Yeah, it's basically the tour set list.
Okay.
I think there were a couple songs that we cut from the bootleg that we did live, just for time's sake. But yeah, it's the European set list basically.
Well, if this is just your rehearsals, I'm telling you guys, I was pleasantly blown away. I wasn't sure what to expect with something called a bootleg, so I wasn't sure like what this was going to sound like. But like George, you and we were talking earlier too. You've been playing this for like 20 times or whatever.
Going on 4 weeks now.
And I know Tim, I saw you did a review of
Oh yeah,
the
I love it. No, it's a great. I mean, it sounds good. You guys just sound fantastic. I love it. I mean, for a bootleg, it's yeah, it's great. And
I
I
wouldn't
know,
even really call it a bootleg. I mean, I
yeah,
know you're not really calling it a release per se, but like to me, it's another album with Eli on the vocals. I mean, it's
yeah.
awesome, guys. I would like to see that really put out even more mainstream or whatever. Yes, Kent.
Guys, Jared and company, quick question. With regard to something similar to this, would it be possible? I absolutely love the fact that I could get a Saint shirt with an album, and we'll just call this an official bootleg because you guys sanctioned it. Sounds fantastic. I love it. Great introduction to Eli with Saint and Saint with Eli, and two thumbs up there. I'm anxious to hear more. And would it be possible, guys? I absolutely love the package deal, Jared and company, because would it be possible on future Saint releases to have a shirt with a studio album or a shirt with the studio vinyl for? Have you guys given thought to that?
Well, we
Well,
have kind of done that to a degree. Like each album, generally we do put out a shirt that corresponds with the cover art. And sometimes I guess we've offered them as a package, but a lot of times it's separate. That's just more of a however we decide to market it. But
maybe it was just a super special deal this time around, but I gotta say, and I'll step away in a second. Everything happens when I'm at work, and I was right in the middle of a fire department class, and we were breaking for lunch, and I'm just scouring Facebook at random, and I see Rich puts out, "Hey, super deal on shirts and the album," and I can't find it anywhere on my phone, and I'm panicking. And I see Tim, my buddy Tim Ristow. He was like first in line. He said, "Got it, no problem." And finally, and like my lunch hours winding down, I text Tim, "Man, can you help a brother out?" So Tim helped me. He bought me it. I've reimbursed him and got it. And
Got you
it
covered,
out in
buddy.
no time flat, didn't it, guys?
Yeah, yeah, it's I love the shirt. I'm wearing it. That's really cool. It has the tour dates from the European tour. We're gonna talk about that here in a second. Yeah, yeah, Tim. I mean, it's the shirt is awesome too. As good as the CD. Yes.
it's a
Well,
really
what
funny thing walking around in a foreign country with someone who's wearing your face on a shirt everywhere we go. Hola.
a lot.
What happened? What happened with the whole thing when I put it on the Saint site was that we had like 30 or 40 CDs left, and that were left over from the EU tour. These albums, or this project was made to sell to people who came to our show. We're going to do the same thing at Immortal Fest as well. So the songs that we perform at Immortal Fest are going to be on another bootleg. Okay, and the different songs on there, because we're going to change up our set a little bit. Along with an accompanying t-shirt. But we blew these out because basically just so that we could recoup some of the funding that it cost to manufacture the shirts and the CDs, so that's why they were super cheap. So yeah, we intend on continuing the process, at least with Immortal. Maybe by the end of the year, we'll think about releasing like a 2-disc version. I think there's enough songs to put out a 2-disc bootleg of everything and then make that available for everybody at the time. I don't know. Cool. I'm just thinking out loud.
Mm-hmm. So how were these shows in Europe? How was the response? I don't know. Have you guys ever been to Europe before?
I haven't.
No.
So this is the first time the band was in Europe. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. The only time we've been overseas was when I met Eli in Oslo.
And so how were these just these concerts? Was it just the band, or were these festivals? I think one was a festival, wasn't it, Richard?
2 of them were festivals. There was Full Metal, and then there was Elements of Rock.
Okay.
And those were, great response, great turnout. It was a lot of fun. Then we played in Emmen in Holland, and that was a more intimate setting. It was probably a small hall. I suppose it probably held maybe 100 to 150 people. It was packed, though. It was a lot of fun. Then off to Hagen. And that was a lot of fun. We stayed in this old brewery, and that's where the venue was at. And we stayed above the venue in this by the pictures you look at it, you would think that it would smell musty and all that, but it's so old. I mean, this place was older than the United States.
Well, and I saw,
it was a lot of fun.
Matt posted pictures, and it just looked really cool. The architecture and everything. I was like, man, that looks like a really cool place to be. So you made a lot of new Saint fans, I'm assuming, with this tour that you did then.
I think so.
So I know you guys are performing at part 1 of Immortal Fest this year. Do you have more concerts planned or lined up for 2025 or not?
Not at this point in time.
Okay.
I mean, we could, but we got some things that have to happen here next probably 6 months or so, to where I probably won't be able to do any performances, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay. And then the big question, of course, is I'm assuming you guys are working on material for a new album.
Well, we have some stuff that's scratched up, as far as I know that Matt has written some material and I have written some material, but we haven't really dug into it because we've been so busy doing the European thing and getting ready for Immortal and the things that we want to do for that we really haven't sat down and and started a new production or a new project
Mhm.
at this time. But I mean, it's in the works. We just
Yeah,
haven't
cool.
started
Cool.
anything.
Cool. And Eli, do you write lyrics and stuff? I'm just curious. I assume you do and stuff. You write lyrics
I hope
and
so.
Yes. Yeah.
so and I know Matt, he's always doodling on the guitar. Um,
He's writing right now.
I could tell I see he has his guitar. He probably if something hits him, he's gonna play us a riff or something. George and Tim, do you have anything you'd like to add or say or anything? I kind
Oh,
of
I got a ton.
well, go
So,
for it, Tim. Go for it.
well, I could start with everybody. Well, first, Matt, I got to ask, what guitar do you have there? Oh, nice. Oh,
Oh.
nice.
Wow.
Oh, look at that.
It's most of a guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could ask the same of Jared because you got a wall behind you back there of great looking
Oh.
guitars.
That's
Man.
some of them. I ran out of wall.
This guitar was green.
Oh,
Oh,
And I don't know if you can see it. Richard said, "No way." And so when I got to Nashville, we tore it apart and sanded it and painted it like this.
very cool. I like
And
it. I like the red.
What brand is that, Matt?
it's a Hills.
Okay. I see it now. I got
Okay.
you.
I'm actually kind of sponsored by Hills Guitars now.
Nice.
Cool.
that'll
Very
go
nice.
good with Richard's bass now, the color.
Yeah, the guy who founded this company lives right outside of Versailles, like about 2 hours.
Oh, really? Okay.
So after getting to know him, yeah, so I'll be hooking up with him. He's going to come and see us. Hopefully, he's going to try to come and see us in Immortal. But these are great guitars. They're like $500, and they play good. They got stainless steel frets. I had to put a new pickup in it, but other than that, and new paint.
Looks
On a
great.
car, Richard.
All right, I got a question for Eli, the new guy. So, Eli, I know you have something called a hybrid vocal technique. Can you tell me a little bit about that and kind of, I know it's kind of this amalgam of different vocal techniques.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about all those techniques. I saw some of this on your website, but give me a summary. What's kind of that about? How does that work, and how do you incorporate that, or plan to incorporate that into what you're doing with Saint?
Okay, that is just that is a culmination of the stuff that I studied. So when I first started studying voice, it was with a bel canto teacher, which is just the old classical Italian style.
Right.
And I studied that for a long time, and then I was, kind of obsessed with the voice. So I studied, bel canto, speech level singing, jaw larynx, body fusion, all kinds of different things. And instead of just kind of leaning on one of them, I was always kind of like experimental, like, can these work together instead of everybody fighting? Oh, no, that's no good. That's no good. Only this. And I started mixing techniques together, and they really helped me to improve and go past where I was, instead of just staying in this box. And so I was, using that the whole time I was, coming up and singing and everything. And then I started teaching because I wasn't a natural singer. I was somebody that just had a low speaking voice, couldn't really do anything. So after I had learned all that stuff and had been doing it for years, I started to teach people. I used to teach like not professionally, but just like bandmates and people doing different things. And then I just put it out there, but I called it hybrid vocal technique because it wasn't, I'm a bel canto teacher. It was like, it was a mixture of techniques that I had made work together.
Yeah. That's interesting. Wow. A blending of styles, basically, that work for you.
Yeah. Kind of like mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, karate's the best. No, kung fu's the best. And then, now we have MMA. Put them all together. The best of everything.
I love it.
Look behold, the white horse rides to conquer and to curse.
Well, and you also mentioned Al Cohn, is that his name? That he was significant for you? Was that he was a big influence or a mentor for you?
Yes. Yeah, that was my main vocal instructor. He was my main one. So the bulk of HVT came from Al Cohen.
Okay.
And I studied with him in Largo, Florida, which is probably an hour from where I live.
Yeah.
And back in those days, that was like in the late 80s through the early 90s.
Yeah.
And so the time slot that I used to have was like 11 a.m. on Saturdays. And that was like his makeup lesson day, but I just happened to get that slot. And I used to see back in those days, he was teaching a lot of high level singers, and I would just sit there and wait. And sometimes I'd see these guys come in. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm brand new, so I used to have to go after the guy that used to sing for Crimson Glory, John. He's passed away now. His stage name was Midnight.
Midnight.
So I used to sit there and listen to this guy, and then he's hanging out with a singer from Sabotage, and and then I'm leaving, and the guy from Saigon Kick is coming in, and and every once in a while there's like these television celebrities coming in from soap operas. He's teaching some guy for an acting part that required vocals or something. So, but anyway, he was my main he was my vocal mentor and my main teacher. He was
cool.
Outstanding. He studied in Seattle with Maestro David Kyle, who taught Jeff Tate.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Phenomenal. Wow. Awesome. All right. I'll step back, let George ask some questions.
I've actually got one question, and I don't know if this is going down uncharted territory or not, but I was listening to The Perfect Life a few days ago. I know this album doesn't get talked about much, but
What album?
you know how what's that?
What album?
The one where
Those
you're
are
wearing,
imposters. That's an imposter album. That's
the
not
one where
us.
you're wearing the one where you're wearing the Izod shirt, Richard. But anyways,
Show that. Yeah.
yes, that
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
look at that. He's got it right there.
Wow.
But you know how one of the songs was brought back for Desperate Night, To Live Forever? And Brian
Right.
actually sang that one.
No, I think that was Josh singing.
Oh,
Brian only
oh.
sang the song "Desperate Night."
Oh,
on
that's
that
right.
album.
That's right.
Brian did all of Broad as the Gate, but Desperate Night was he only did the one song, the title track.
Gotcha. So with that in mind, I was listening, I do listen to A Perfect Life, and there are a couple songs on there that it seems like if they got, I don't know, for lack of a better term, a new crunch, they were done a little bit more crunchier with some, sort of distorted vocals, little extra distortion in the guitars.
So what you're saying is if we redid that and redid those songs with like drums besides a Boss drum machine, a jump amplifier,
Actually,
if they were Prinsenized, yeah.
well, okay, and that's kind of leading into my thing here, because it would be like a perfect way to kind of reinvent a couple of. I'm only thinking of two songs though. Desperate and no, Deceived and The Runner.
Yes.
Because they've already got screaming guitar solos that kind of run through them. I think that was Dee's work.
Yep.
So, anyways, I was thinking, possibly down the road, a couple of those songs could be kind of like reinvented, and
Raise Your Hands was a pretty good song and could be reinvented as well.
That was another one.
It just kind of had an interesting intro. Dee was going through, we were playing with new technology, let's say, at the time, and he got a little carried away with it. So, but
Well, I'm gonna tag on to George's idea, and what I think would be cool is make those like bonus tracks for the new album. Do a couple of Perfect Life tracks as bonus tracks with Eli singing, and like you said, just adding even more crunch in that, and better production and stuff to those.
Remind me, George, how many songs? I remember it being an EP. How many songs were on that? 6?
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
record the whole thing, guys. Now that the band's together, A Perfect Life Perfected. Like A Perfect Life Perfected. You got the band together, no more drum machines. Put that Saint stamp on there that you guys do so well, and I'm in.
And one thing I do want to say about the European bootleg was it was almost like listening to all of Saint's catalog through a new set of ears with Eli's vocals, because Eli, your enunciation actually had me looking at the lyrics again, because I realized I was listening to them thinking that they were different words, but I could hear the whole song through yours, through your vocals. And it was very refreshing. It was kind of like getting to listen to all of my favorite songs over again in a whole new light.
Wow. Cool, man.
But and that would also be, in my opinion, a really good reason to redo a few of the Perfect Life songs, and just crunch them up a bit. They've got the potential right there to be real rockers.
So we need. Are you saying we need to do, instead of a greatest hits, we need to do a greatest misses?
Well, nah, you're selling yourself too short there. No, I think they've got the potential. It's just a little extra edge to them, and I think they'd be top notch.
I can really hear the runner if that was just even more like, Saint style. I mean, that would be a jamming song with Eli singing. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, just go drop D on all of them.
There you go.
Damn it.
There's a little bit of a problem with that idea, and that is that we have a lot of new material we want to work on.
Oh, okay.
Mm. Well, like Rex was saying, maybe like on a special disc, those could be like bonuses, something like that.
Keep trying.
Okay, we will.
Well, here's the thing.
I'll just tell you, I have absolutely no interest in doing anything like that. Like zero. It was fun to redo the old Saint material for the EU bootleg, but it was done for a purpose so it's more than just the songs. It was the practice sessions. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into that.
Yeah.
And these songs were just kind of a byproduct. It's not like we were doing it for the songs. We were doing it for the live shows. The songs were just the byproduct. So the idea of going back through the old catalog and redoing that just for the sake of doing that, I have like zero interest in doing it. But now if the guys wanted to do it, I would do it.
Well, now I want to say we should do it just because you don't want to.
Well, and you're getting honest fan, ideas about like, that album especially is, as George says, it's kind of always been kind of the stepchild of the Saint catalog, and
let's adopt that album, Matt, and make it an official part of the family. Make our Joy Complete as band.
No.
Rich has a nickname for that album.
The perfect flop.
What was that again, Richard? What did you call it?
The perfect flop. Yeah. I mean, it has a lot of potentially good songs on it. There's no doubt about that. But then I have to ask this question. I was going through the catalog, looking at what we had for inventory and getting ready to reprint some stuff, and I came across Warriors of the Sun because we haven't. I'm pretty much out of those. I don't have any hard copies to make, so I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to have some more of these printed. Well, in my my journey to find the tracks, I found the session that I'd worked on about 2 years ago. Had Matt do a bunch of stuff. Jerry did a bunch of stuff. He sang all the vocals on it. So I have a complete version of Warriors of the Sun, except for it sounds really killer instead of, off of an 8-track recording session done in a garage back in 1984. And then there was also my very green version of it that came out, I think it was 2004, the 20-year release. But this is a much better polished version. But I'm still looking at maybe the possibility, do we want to release something like that and have Eli do the vocal tracks on it, because that's rehashing something that's already been rehashed. But I was thinking more like a 40-year release of the album and actually make it into the production that it should have been in the first place.
And as an added bonus, we could tack on the Perfect Life song.
We're going that route. I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
But see, that's not Rich, by your own words, good sir. And you are the patron saint of Christian. You are King Richard to us. Here's the thing, boss. It's like the perfect flop doesn't have to be the perfect flop.
Oh, it doesn't.
It wouldn't be perfect.
It can be saved. It can be salvaged.
Well, I think either one of those ideas or both of them together, you got, 4 guys right here that would buy it, no question asked. And I know there's a lot of other fans that would, buy that and purchase that. So, yeah, something to think about. And yeah, I like George's idea about just, redoing that Perfect Life album, or at least several tracks from it, at the minimum, to kind of have Eli singing, and I think fans would eat that up, guys.
Well, it's certainly the easy way. I mean, we were talking earlier about a new release. Well, that would shove that back on the back burner even further, because even though the songs are already written, it takes a lot of time to produce something, even something that you redo. There's a lot of time and effort involved in doing it.
Yeah.
And Matt, I can understand your idea of kind of like not wanting to go back and just keep working on new stuff. I totally see that side of that too. So I don't want to poo-poo your idea or your thoughts about not redoing that. I totally can see that side also. So
yeah, I gotta agree with Matt. I think moving forward, I mean, the last albums have been so great. You guys are just on a great run. I'd say keep moving forward. I want to see what y'all can do next with fresh new stuff. But I mean, I'm not opposed to the back catalog thing, but I love what y'all have been putting out lately. And now with Eli, I can't wait to see what y'all do next. So
yeah, we're taking a new approach on this album. And that is, I'm not giving any drum ideas to Jared. So I'm just sending him guitar riffs. So in the past, I'd write demos and I'd put a drum beat. I'd do a little programming or whatever and kind of get the song put together. And I asked Jared, I just had this idea. It's like, let me just send you guitar riffs with a click track. And then at least he'll know where the beat is. And so I'm really excited to do that. I actually have about 3 songs written. I want to send Jared and see where that goes.
cool.
Well, if I was asked again, I would say Perfect Life would be project B or C. I agree with Tim. I'd rather see the new stuff coming forward, because, last 3 albums, have been awesome. It's been a very fun trip.
Yeah, we've become a pretty finely tuned kind of creative production machine. the way we all work together, you know, so it's like there's not a whole lot of infighting or disagreements, except for, you know, once in a while.
That's just because
But
I'm always right. But
I know Jared's always right, and then I have to fight with him and then lose. And I lose my battle, and then I lick my wounds and come back for more.
Well, I will say that those last three albums have really made a really awesome trilogy for the band, and you could just tell the people are getting more interested in Sane again. You can tell your popularity just keeps growing and growing from what I see with things on Facebook and just everything. So good job, guys, on those last three
Well,
albums.
our next album is going to blow your mind.
Awesome.
Nice.
It
Awesome.
will. I'm going to make sure it blows mine, and then if it blows mine,
Gotcha.
it'll blow yours too.
Cool. Well, we're kind of winding down here. Kent, did you have anything else you'd like to ask or anything, or any
I
of
have
the
a
other
plethora
guys?
of things.
Okay, go for it.
Eli, just wanted to say that Tim and I were talking about your vocals on this, the EU bootleg, and wonderful stuff. Noticed how you rolled your R's on some songs, and it brought this classical metal feel. So Tim and I were discussing that. It's awesome. We're excited for Saint. Jared, quick question. Matt was talking about kind of, instead of giving you drum ideas, because I remember that last time, him talking about that. My question is, there's the puppy. Is that a Pomeranian?
Yeah, she's sorry. She's bugging me.
Is that the one that just pooped on the beach today?
She peed. That was pee. She peed in that hole.
Well, thank goodness you didn't zoom in. Anyway, sorry, Kent. I got sidetracked.
Jared, when y'all went and toured Europe, did you bring the same drum setup that you brought to the Immortalizer video?
no, we were using backline stuff over there. And although to be fair, one show I think I had less than what I had in that video, but you know, we made it work.
I remember Matt saying that he told you to bring your drum set for the video, and you brought a kick and a snare, and like there's all this drum stuff going on. And he said he had a heck of a time trying to edit that video because I got tickled about that. So,
We try not to take ourselves too seriously.
That's good.
Eli, I think I have you figured out, partner, because you were in Sealed Fate, you were in Sacrificed, you're in Sacred Warrior and Saint. So for you to be in a band, it has to start with an S. Is this correct?
Well, he
I
was
was in another Christian band called Seraphim, so I
Nice.
guess so.
Well, the only thing that doesn't fit, Eli, you were in Dream Patrol. That
Yeah.
is an incredible album, by the way. I just got that the other day, and I love that album.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that was totally like outside the box a little bit. You know, Ronnie Koenig from Signum Regis. We had done some projects together, and he asked, hey, will you do this? And I'm looking for this kind of vocal tone, and we're going to play kind of a classic rock style. And I wasn't doing anything. Ray had went back to Warrior, and I was just like, sure. So it was a very, very relaxed process, but yeah, it was pretty fun. It was just like a classic rock kind of a sound.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
What's your biggest challenge, Eli, in stepping into a band like now Saint that's got such an established history? Do you feel a little pressure coming into that?
Oh, of course, because I love it. Because I love this band more than I can even put into words. So some of it is just like, Josh Kramer was like my hero vocally. You know what I mean? Because I grew up listening to Priest, and he has such a similar sound to Rob Halford. And so, there's that love. It's like, okay, I'm going to be playing these songs, and I absolutely love these. I have such fond memories of growing up with this stuff. Yeah. So there's that that part of you that's like, I've got to dig deep to try to bring this, because I know what the fans would expect, because I am a fan. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
so all of those things. So like what he was talking about, rolling the R's, that was a Josh Kramer thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it had to be there, you know? And, you know, so.
But you also have your own voice, Eli, and I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not Josh Kramer, I'm not Dave or Brian, you know, but I'm trying to bring that flavor in there and make sure that it, you know, because I love that so much. But, you know, so my voice probably closer to Josh's in a lot of ways, and just stylistically and timbre and everything. But yeah, so when you sing this stuff, it's just like when in Sacred Warrior, I sound nothing like Ray Parra. You know, I had to sing those songs up in the stratosphere, but the stuff on Waiting in Darkness is a little heavier, so that's a little more like me, you know. So I couldn't be Ray, I can't be Josh, but I'm doing my best, you know.
Let me state for the record, if I may. Number one, Eli, you're a great fit. Okay, you got 4 Saint fans here, and I promise you, every one of us were saying how much we loved your vocals off the camera.
I appreciate it.
Just for the record, regarding Sacrifice, 2012 and 3, those 2 albums, and Sacred Warriors, Waiting in Darkness, all of those have received a 90% score by Andrew Rockwell at Angelic Warlord, and he's not an easy sell. Yeah. Those are 3 grade A records that he gave, and you know, he's hard. And so, Eli, that's proof in the pudding for you. The biggest proof, I would think, is fans saying, hey, Eli's right on. We're loving what we're hearing. So please, you know, don't worry. You're great. And a powerhouse band deserves a powerhouse vocalist. And a powerhouse vocalist deserves a powerhouse band. And may I say, for the record, I am so glad that you two, Saint and Eli Prinsen, found each other, because it's a perfect fit. So I'm so happy as a Saint fan.
I appreciate that. An instant joke jumped in there. The perfect flop, the perfect fit. So,
I was with you.
Thank you, Ken. I really appreciate that. Thank you, brother.
One last question for the band, if I may. Guys, I don't want to forget about Jerry Johnson. As a fan, I have a question. Will Jerry still be recording with Saint, just not performing live, or has Jerry retired?
Rich?
Oh, well, I was waiting for you to respond. I think that Jerry is, I speak to Jerry. He has like 3 songs that he thinks are a good Saint fit. And, you know, we're going to listen to them. And if they are, I think that perhaps.
Oh!
Mind blown.
Jumping
I didn't see that coming.
Coeur d'Alene to Lincoln City that fast. But I think that.
Skinwalker.
Yes, I guess the short answer is we do intend on having him play on the next production.
Wonderful. Good news. Good.
He just doesn't like to travel. It's hard on him. I get it.
Do you guys, Matt, this might be one for you. Do you find it different to play live then without Jerry? Is it something that's different? And then I haven't had the blessing to see Saint live. Do you guys use any tracks then along with your live set to kind of bolster the sound any? In that
yeah, I just did a full rhythm track, you know, that we could play to. And at one of the shows, it was in
Switzerland.
where were we? Switzerland. I went out front and I told the sound guy, turn up that rhythm track. So the band was playing and I just stopped playing. Go out front. I tell the sound guy, turn up that rhythm guitar, because it's like they don't turn it up enough. They don't really know what's going on. I'm like, okay, keep going, keep going. And it got to the point where I wasn't playing and you could hear a solid rhythm. So it sounded like a full band. And then I dialed in the guitar a little bit, worked with the sound guy, and it just sounded incredible, you know. So Saint's kind of a two guitar band, so it was nice to have that extra rhythm in there.
Gotcha.
Eli, do you
That way I
still
can that way I can make all the mistakes I want.
and
It
gotcha.
frees me up to suck.
Oh my, no, Matt,
You're awesome, Matt.
You're awesome, Matt. It's awesome to watch you live. Eli, are you still doing this vocal training or not?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And where could
my
people reach out to you at to if they wanted some training? Where could they reach out to you at to contact you about that?
the website is streaming.hybridvocaltechnique.com.
Okay. And then for fans wanting to connect with the band, Richard, what is the band's website to find out what's going on in the Saint world?
Most of the communication would be Saint Band, on Facebook. We do have a website. It's www.saintsite.com. And I try to keep it updated, but I have so many irons in the fire all the time that it's tough to run a website,
Sure.
to do all the things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So even with the, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna let you finish. Go ahead, finish up.
Well, I lost my train of thought. I'm in there.
Oh, you were just talking about the website and whatever.
And that
But
you have a lot going on and it's hard to kind of keep up with all of that.
So yeah. So anyway, sometimes we're a little slow at getting things announced.
Okay.
Signatures are done. The treaty set. The mission clear. A nation's to be won.
Matt, tell us about your book, because I'm very curious about your writing.
it's kind of a crime drama thriller that delves into kind of conspiracy theory territory, but it's all based on real life. It's a wild read. It's got a lot of really good reviews. It's one of the 5-book series, so I'm going to do 4 more. I found that I really like to write, and apparently I'm okay at it. So I took some writing courses. My professor told me that I should be writing more, and that's what happened last year as I was working to advance my nursing degree, to take some more advanced writing courses. But I did make a website. It's thedivinekeep.com. And I'm working on what they call a torch for Angel Studios. And a torch is like a 5-minute version of what the movie would be like.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to block out, I got about 6 or 7 scenes that I'm going to be filming over this summer. So I had to get actors, actresses, cameramen, had to put together a small army to film this. And then I don't know if you know how Angel Studios works, but they have guild members that vote on what gets made into a movie. So they let the members pick it. So it's not a bunch of guys in suits looking through scripts. And Angel Studios they've done The Chosen, they did King of Kings, and they've really kind of become one of the more prominent movie studios in the world. So I'd love to take the book and get a movie made out of it. So we'll see how that goes.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And that's a great route to go for sure.
Yeah, the book is available on Amazon, just The Divine Keep. It comes right up. And I worked really hard and really kind of spitballed tons of titles that were unique that wouldn't get mixed up with anything else. So the divine keep has never been used, and those words in that context, which was kind of exciting. And the divine keep it's us. It's like it's a group of people who fight against evil.
Interesting.
That's what we do. And the characters in the book are fighting against evil. And I go into the spiritual realm, kind of like Frank Peretti did with his Present Darkness. I don't know if you remember those books.
Oh, yeah.
But it was, I love those books. And so I go into the spiritual realm. I go into the minds of the demons, and I go into the minds of the angels who are battling against them, and kind of how they are operating in the spiritual world.
Who's the protagonist in it? Who's our point of view?
The protagonist is basically the demonic realm. The Watchers from the Book of Enoch are brought in to the script. Azazel, as I call him, Shamazel, who was like one of the bringers of evil before the fall of Adam, or right in that time. Yeah, it's fun. It's just fun craziness.
And for the soundtrack to the movie, we can have Saint.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably a song from The Perfect Flop.
Or a couple. How about a
How
couple
many
from that?
did you get for this movie, Matt? Well, it was a perfect flop. I'm teasing.
It very well could be a perfect flop.
No, it won't be. I know you. It won't be. It's going to be great.
But you got to try. If you're not trying, you're failing.
Yeah.
I don't mind failing. I fail a lot. So just be one more. It could be a flop. It could be a success. I don't know.
It'll be great.
I'm working on what's going to be a really fun video of our European trip.
Oh, I want to see that.
Nice.
Yeah, I got concert footage from each show, and then I got just a bunch of us traveling around, practicing in a hotel room and just being silly and having a good time.
What was that?
Speaking of that, on the video when you guys were, I don't know where you were traveling, but Olaf did not like the song that someone was playing, and Jared was banging his head. Which song was that? Which band was that?
That happened a dozen times.
Oh, okay. Because I liked it, and Olaf obviously didn't like it.
He didn't like Taylor Swift either.
We got to give Olaf a shout out for that whole tour, because it wouldn't have happened without him. He was amazing. He drove us all over Europe, and what a great guy. Thank you, Olaf.
Yeah, and he put up with my daughter. She was up there co-writing with him and telling him. Well, he basically took my place and had to be scolded all the time. So it was wonderful for me.
It was hilarious.
That's great.
And Richard, I do have. Speaking of Olaf, Richard, I do have a very quick question. Is that his signature on there? Did he sign this?
He might have. I don't know.
Because there's two signatures that aren't the band.
Oh, you know what? It might have been Cassie and Olaf.
Okay.
I might have had them sign it because they were
Sweet.
with us on the tour.
Yeah, because I saw the extra names and I'm like, maybe, but I just remembered I wanted to ask you that.
Yeah.
No,
Very
Cassie deserves a shout out too, because Cassie was amazing. She ran the merch table. She kept us all focused.
Mostly.
Cool.
Wrangler.
Yeah.
And Matt,
she's my partner in crime. So
Matt, your YouTube channel, is it just your name, or what is your YouTube channel where we could see some Saint stuff for
Oh, it's
fans?
if you Google Elite Guitar School, Matt Smith,
Okay.
Elite Guitar School. So
Okay, cool.
I was going to start teaching guitar on YouTube in like 2008, and I started posting videos, and people were so mean, I just quit doing it.
Wow. Wow.
Welcome to the interwebs.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, I'm providing really good educational content, and people are just ripping me a new one, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And Tim, your channel, tell us about your channel, and what you got coming up, and where they can find that at.
Oh, okay. Well, let me keep it pretty brief here. But yeah, Creative Christians channel is kind of the overarching, but it's under my name, Tim Ristow. And my focus really, as I'm trying to build this channel, is to, provide content for Christian creatives or just anybody interested in creativity for that matter with a faith mix to it. And so Tim Talks Christian Rock is, of course, kind of the thing that started it all. But then I kind of started this creative Christians angle with it as well. So I have a program called Afterthoughts where we talk about film and creativity. So I'm looking to expand into all these areas of creativity with a faith perspective on them, either reading articles that reflect things in entertainment or film or music, reflecting on that, reflecting on the current culture of film, of course, Christian rock, all that. So I'm trying to cover a broad area and kind of launching it in little ways here and there, and just kind of still experimenting with some things. But yeah, started an interview series, kind of like what you good guys here at Area 312 have done. I've had C.G. Reich on already with Iron Wrath, of course, Dale Thompson with Bride. We've got We Are Resolute coming back. I'd actually love to get all you guys from Saint on at some point as well, too, and talk about all the different areas of creativity you guys are involved with. So anyway, it's growing, it's expanding. It's a lot to keep up with, but I'm having a blast doing it. So
Awesome, Tim. Yeah,
yeah.
your channel is wonderful. I try to watch all of your stuff, and
Well,
very,
thank you.
very, very good and well done.
Well, thanks. Appreciate that.
Sure.
It's a blessing, and it's all glory to God in doing it. So.
So the last question for the band guys is, what words of wisdom, or what would you like to say to all of your friends and fans out there?
Well, I guess we got nothing.
I'm waiting
records.
I would like to tell all the fans and all the friends out there to just keep the faith. Contend for the faith. We're in very strange times in this world right now, and there's a lot of bad doctrine. There's a lot of bad things, and you can go on YouTube and see bad things all day. But I just want to say, keep the faith, stay in God's word, stay in prayer, and yeah, that'd be it. Keep the faith, contend for the faith, as is in the book.
Right on.
That's why we're here. That's why we do this.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
Music is hard, and if I didn't have a purpose for it, like a real purpose, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I love to play guitar, but the amount of time and energy it takes to produce records and to do what we do, if it didn't have a purpose, like a higher purpose, I wouldn't even do it. So
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I am so
I'd be busy working harder to make more money.
I am so
Working for free
glad,
all the time.
so glad, Matt, and I want to thank you talking about that. And Rich, I'm not asking the question; it was kind of in here, but I remember being so stoked when Saint came back within the battle
Right.
after a hiatus for a while, and you guys have been going strong ever since. And Matt, I'm 53 now. I'm not 15 like I was around the time I first heard Saint. But you guys, I mean, God's word feeds me. But musically speaking, I don't want to listen to bands that sing about smut. I need something to help keep me encouraged on my walk with Christ. And you guys are a big part of that. And Matt, I'm just saying, and you already know this, but what you guys are doing for myself as a Christian, you are just helping me to stay on track with my thoughts and my heart. And I want to say thank you for that. So thank you, Matt. Thank you, Eli and Rich and Jared. Thank all you guys.
Oh, man.
You're
Well,
welcome.
Yeah, you're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. We always close out our program with something we call message from home. And as we were just saying here, we want to keep the main thing. And so we always read a verse of scripture that has some relation to the band, be it an album title or song. And the passage I've picked out is Isaiah chapter 46, verse 10. And it says, I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times, what is still to come. I say my purpose will stand and I will do all that I please. And we just know that Christ has already won the battle, and we need to remember that. As Matt says, just keep on pressing on. And so we just need to remember that it's already been done, and we just need to be faithful to the Lord. I just want to thank everyone for joining us, and for Tim and George joining us. It was awesome. And so we're gonna let everyone go here. But if you just stick around for one more second, we'll end things now here.
Thanks
you,
for
guys.
having us.
Take care, everybody. Thanks, guys.
Everybody have a great day.
Let a sinner live to die, or a religion all our lives. We come in comfort with an invitation. Hail to the congregation.
Rich, Tim, and I have a question.
Okay.
Has Saint given any and George too, George as well, has Saint given any consideration? We've noticed all these wonderful Saint coffee cups.
Oh, yes.
Any thought for a Saint primed and ready roast, or a Saint times in roast, or something of that nature?
Or an Armageddon espresso.
How about
apocalyptic coffee?
how about in the night dark roast?
There you go.
Yeah, no, I haven't really given it much thought. I don't even, I'd have to talk to Pastor Bob about
I got one.
the ins and out of how you would go about packaging that kind of stuff, and and what that would entail. Maybe we could do a special deal of Saint Headbangers Brew with Sanctuary. Seeing as how they already have a network going on. They would be more than welcome to incorporate that into their catalog of coffee.
I think it's a great revenue stream for you. Sainted coffee. I think it'd be awesome. You can even
Sanctified.
get a little
Sanctified. How about
Eli? You had a name for something.
yeah,
didn't you?
for at least one of the Saint roasts.
Yeah.
Should be too late for sleeping.
Yep. Happy Saint Day, everyone.
Woo!